and then our parents, community members, and we'll close out with Mr. Harness.
Nadine McKenzie-Shan here.
Young Reed, instructional coach, Young here. So that's way fast. I don't know if
I think that's it for our teacher on the teacher front.
I don't think
so I can go. Yeah, Mr. Norwood's not here. Rebecca Cagle.
Rod Shaw, community member.
Ryan Valduga.
Caroline Avisar.
Leah Matthews.
And I guess me, is that everyone? Yep. Then I'm Terry. Nice to see you all.
Yeah. Great. Well, we have a quorum and we can move into our action items, which I think start with us approving our agenda, which y'all are looking at right now. Can I get a motion for that?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Thanks, Raj. I'll second. Oh, great. That was a second from, was that from Ryan or?
Yeah, that was Ryan.
Young? Ryan, thank you, Ryan. Okay, Raj, motion, Ryan seconded. All in favor of approving the agenda? Aye.
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 What's
I didn't mean to clap. I was trying to raise my hand, but I think you got it.
You know, we're just doing so well with the Roberts rules. Let's move on to approving the minutes from our last meeting, which Caroline, thank you for sending out. I appreciate that. If anyone needs a minute to take a look at them, feel free to do so. If you feel ready to go, you can go ahead and make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion from Raj and a second from Ryan. All in favor of approving the minutes from the last meeting?
Yeah.
Aye.
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 Great. Well, now we get to move into some real meaty things, which involves our strategic plan. And I think Mr. Harness has some updates for us.
Yeah, so just to kind of keep everyone abreast, we are a little different than most of the other GO teams around the district, simply because we created our strategic plan last year. That was our big thing as a second year GO team. So there are a number of schools that are completely starting everything from scratch, but we are not one of them. So that's a good thing. But we do want to talk about a couple of things that I want to make sure, because we do need to vote on. But just to kind of get us all back on the same page, this is the strategic plan as it relates to the strategic plan for Atlanta Public Schools for 2030, community of believers and getting back to basics. And last time we met in October, we talked about these 6 buckets. These are the new buckets that our strategic plan has now been kind of vetted through, and we've placed accordingly based on each one of these topics. This is the 2030 plan for Atlanta Public Schools, and this was all generated by Dr. Johnson as a new superintendent and planning out 5 years from now. So what we did is we took our school strategic plan and the strategic priorities. We paired that with our continuous improvement plan, things that we are working on specifically for this school year. And then KPIs, the key performance indicators that the district provided us as a school data sheet. And all of those things we're supposed to consider as we are building our strategic plan, which again, we already have built. Up at the very top, using this template, there were 4 SMART goals that we're going to continue with at VHE. Increasing cohesion, instructional approaches, overall attendance rates, implementing an MTSS intervention where we are supporting kids with exactly what it is that they need. Oh, I've got an iPhone guest popping in. And then last but not least, increasing family engagement. So once we take a look at these last couple of strategic priorities that I would like for us to consider and to vote on tonight, I'm going to also take you through the family engagement piece that the school has been working on in terms of how we're moving forward with that SMART goal number 4. So just to kind of refresh everyone's memory, the two boxes that are circled here, I wanted to add these two strategic priorities simply to make sure that we were 100% in alignment with the district strategic plan. One of the buckets is our school is efficient and effective. I talked to you all a little bit about this our last meeting. One of the things that we're really wanting to pursue this year and then every year after that would be an emergency preparedness seal that is provided by the state of Georgia, which in essence, it's a pretty high expectation process in terms of what we need to do to ensure that we are prepared in any number of emergencies. And since we have a security monitor in George, he is helping lead those efforts. But this seal, in essence, basically allows us opportunities to practice throughout the entire school year in the event that there was an actual emergency. Like, for example, if there were a kid who wasn't breathing, like what would we do? What is our protocol? It gives us opportunities to train all of our teachers using, in CPR. So there's a lot that is going into this, and I can get more into that down the road once we're kind of like a little bit more fleshing it out and just seeing what it takes. We would be the first school in Atlanta Public Schools to go for this. So we're kind of like the guinea pigs, which is good and maybe bad, but I'm excited about it personally. But it would fit under the efficiency and the effective bucket for the district strategic plan overall. So really excited about that. And that's one of the priorities that I would like for us to vote on tonight as to whether or not this is something that I think that we should continue to do or that we should do from here on out. The other is in the bucket of we are sparking student curiosity. What this basically is, and we didn't have a specific priority that I felt, kind of fit into this particular bucket. But what we would like to do is just make sure that we are being thoughtful about what we introduce all of our students to, K through 5. So, for example, the very first priority that is listed here, it's specifically related to project-based learning, which we refer to as PBLs, where we give students scenarios to use all of their content knowledge, whether it is through reading, writing, whether it's through science, math, etc., an opportunity to tackle a real life problem. For us, it's sustainability, and come up with ways in which we can, we can combat that and make sure that we are being sustainable here for the next 100 years down the road when VHE turns 200, right, or 201. But it's something that we've already been doing. Last year we started it as a PBL. This year we are just hitting the ground running with all of our grade levels, where they will start implementing this starting in January-ish. Yeah. So this is something that we want to make sure that we are focused on, but we give kids these real relevant experiences through project-based learning. Reed, do you want to say anything specifically about that?
Yeah, it was very encouraging. So on Tuesday, teachers spent time with their grade levels and their curriculum areas, and we planned out or kind of extended and edited the ones we started last year. And it was really exciting because we don't want to take away from content that's being taught. We don't want to stop teachers and say, okay, well, you're going to do this random projects. That's what we want to get away from. We want everything to be aligned. And like Mr. Harnan said, the umbrella, everything falls under that sustainability umbrella. And, we're going to start in January. Every grade level is a little bit different, but the idea is that how can we better our community? How can we make sure that our school lasts a long time? How can we make connections? And it's interesting because of our old building. It actually allows us to have a lot of really great relevant ideas. So yeah, we'll be starting that in January. Some grade levels have a very broad, the project will take a little bit longer. Some will take a few weeks, but so far I think we've had some great planning happening that day.
Yeah, and the teachers really get into it, but the beauty of it is that their kids are not learning content in silos. Right. So they're using all of this jointly to solve real world problems, which I think is something that we would want every one of our kids to be able to do. Another section of this is called Beyond the Core, and it's a part of our CCRPI indicators. basically the Beyond the Core it's a measurement that says for any kid that comes to VHE or to any school in Georgia, what do they see, what do they receive, or what are they exposed to beyond the regular everyday reading, writing, social studies, math, science? And that is referred to as Beyond the Core. For us, it's things like where we have a STEAM lab teacher, where we have Spanish as an opportunity for students to learn, for students to participate in band, orchestra, chorus. The truth of the matter is that we have a lot of things that many schools just do not, especially at the elementary level, they do not have access to. So what I would like for us to do would be, I think I gave you guys an example last time where right now our 4th and 5th grade students are the only ones taking Spanish. I would love to be able to continue to expand that, where K through 5, everyone has that opportunity to do that. That would be one of the goals that we would want by 2030, that we built a school budget and a school plan that accounts for that type of opportunity for every kid. Now, granted, we don't know what our budget will look like, right, until January, but that doesn't mean that it can't be a goal that we shoot for, while also just being mindful about some of the other things that we currently have and whether or not we need to continue with certain things. Now, I'm not proposing getting rid of a thing, so just putting that out there. But I do think it is important to give all of our kids, and I want to say pre-K through 5th grade, the opportunity to have these Beyond the Core indicators. So yeah, those are two of the things that the priorities. So what I did here was these are the two main ones. The Beyond the Core really will capture the project-based learning as well. So these were the two that I would like for us to vote on this evening. I would like to add the strategic priority of emergency preparedness, and then just using, just making sure that this is a SMART goal. I've broken it down into, is it specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound? And this is the way that it just kind of falls into play. So specifically, it's developing, updating, and implementing comprehensive school safety plans in collaboration with local emergency management agencies and public safety partners. So that's a part of this emergency preparedness seal. Can we actually measure this? Yes, because we have to report and we have to make sure that we are doing this throughout the year, through at least once a month, but 12 emergency drills per year. That is definitely significantly more than what Atlanta Public Schools may ask us to do. But it is also okay to do, because one thing that we can say at VHE last year or the last couple of years, expect the unexpected. I've never had so many fire alarms going off during lunch in 1 year, but that was really interesting to experience in terms of how the kids got out of the building and what they came back to, if they were almost done with lunch or they had to finish lunch. That was interesting stuff. But the really cool thing about this preparedness plan is that it takes you through those scenarios. So you do have a plan in place in terms of what needs to happen. Achievable, training 100% of our school staff in crisis response, threat assessment, emergency medical response. Now, some of our parents, I had a parent reach out to me saying, hey, that's a really cool thing, but will this cause added stress to teachers? And granted, the answer is yeah, probably on some level, just being real. But I'd rather us be stressed a little bit regarding this so we can be prepared down the road in the event of. And I think that is a very fair statement. I mean, the truth of the matter is that if there is an emergency, we want to know what we can do and we want to feel confident in what we do. So whether it's CPR, first aid, stop the bleed training, these things are all things that could potentially happen at any point in time. And we want teachers that are, feel good about it. We recently did one, participated in it with me and the administrators, where we have the CPR dummies, and George placed a CPR dummy in a spot, and then we had to go and kind of go through a scenario of what do we do to support this potential. It could be a teacher or it could have been a student, which was interesting. And I think, Rhea, I don't know how you would describe it, but for me, it's kind of like, wow, that's Yeah, I mean, this could happen. And to be honest with you, it has happened. We've had students with seizures that we needed to support immediately, but even practicing for it, it definitely feels better because we're all there to say, hey, this is the first step. This is the second step. This is what we need to do now. So it's nice just to kind of have those refreshers and just constantly, being ready for it in the event of. And then time-bound reviewing, updating, reporting progress on that, on the preparedness goals each semester, and then hopefully getting that SIL at the in May at the end of every school year. So that's the emergency preparedness strategic priority that I would like to add. And then on the other side, what I was mentioning regarding the Beyond the Core. The Beyond the Core is measured by CCRPI. CCRPI scores are embargoed right now at this moment, and we just recently, like literally 2 or 3 days ago, got our Beyond the Core score. I can't share that with you, but what I like about it is that we did well, but it did point out some things that we need to make sure that we are still keeping on the forefront of our mind. For example, one of the things that will always be a part of Beyond the Core that we need to make sure that we're doing is ensuring that our kids are at school, right? Our attendance rate is a big deal. Attendance matters. I'm gonna continue to say that to whoever will hear me say it, but we want to do whatever we can to make sure that our kids are present and that they are not only present, but they are participating in things that are good for them. Learning a new language, learning how to garden, what it means to harvest, learning how to code, learning how to do any number of things. The things that we have available here at VHE as a third-year school, it's kind of, mind-blowing. So, but we've got to be able to use that to a point where we all feel comfortable with it. So again, with this strategic priority, just in alignment with Beyond the Core indicators, our school will ensure that students have opportunities to engage in fine arts, world language, PE, career awareness, other exploratory programs that complement and deepen core academic learning. 100% of VHE students will participate in Beyond the Core indicators offered at VHE. Now, granted, again, this is by 2030, but this is 100% that we would want to see each and every year. So just putting that out there. And it is something that we could do. At Spark, we were able to offer it. Depending on budget season this year, we shall see what we can do and whether or not we have to take incremental steps to make that happen. But I think it's a goal that's worth going for. Any questions? Can you guys hear me? Yeah, okay. I panic in those moments.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
For the Beyond the Core goal, I read this at first and I was like, well, surely 100% are participating because I think every kid has to take special. So unless they're like getting pulled out, but what I'm hearing from you maybe makes me think, I know not every kid gets language, not every kid, I don't know, there might be other barriers that I don't know about, but what percent, I guess I'm just kind of curious, like what percentage are we at now with participation?
No, we're doing, to be honest with you, so Beyond the Core, it says that students should have access to either fine arts or world language, etc. For me, what I would like to see is Beyond the Core, would they have access to all of that? So I want our K through third grade students to have language. I think it's important.
Yeah.
But I also think that it is important as long as it is not interfering with other opportunities to learn. So for example, if I have a student who is struggling with phonics or reading, then perhaps we would want to give them more phonics and or reading support and not necessarily a language. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we would want to do that, but I do think it's important for us to do what we can to give every grade level the opportunity to experience those, that Beyond the Core subject. Now, what that may mean is, do we do that as like a special where, every week we know they go to art? Will they go to Spanish every week, or will they go every 3 weeks or something along those lines? And again, depending on the budget and how we figure that out in our next Go Team meeting in January, we should have our budget by then, so we can start looking at this. We'll determine whether or not we can actually do what I would hope to be able to do. I just don't want the budget to be a factor that stops us from doing what we know is right, or at least what I think is right. So
Carrie, does that include like music and orchestra and band and all that too, right? 'Cause I
it
know every
does.
year-
So,
Okay.
yep. So orchestra and band for our upper grade students. I mean, that is a pretty, I mean, it's unique for a district to offer that. Years ago in Fulton County schools, they removed orchestra and band almost immediately. And then world language in elementary, they removed it right after that, like the next year. To see an APS that we still are pushing for this, I think it's something that we need to continue to push for. But again, how awesome would it be down the road if we could start offering orchestra and band to third grade,
Yeah.
right? And doing more. Now, granted, obviously these are going to have dollar signs on it, but I mean, but it doesn't mean that we should at least aspire to try to make that happen if we could. So.
No, I love this. Every year I get nervous that some of these programs are going to get cut. And so I love that it's a goal to include as many of the grade levels as we can. Right.
I like to. I mean, now we'll see. That also may mean down the road, though, as we continue to grow, we have 676 kids, by the way, that we would have to hire potentially another art teacher or PE teacher. At Spark, we had 2 PE teachers. We had 2 music teachers like we do currently. We only kept 1 art teacher, but we just barely made that work. So, but these are things that we would have to consider as we continue to grow. So, any other questions?
I like that VHE wants to lead from the front with emergency preparedness as well. I do think, we should work on, messaging to the parents. Obviously, increasing the number of drills can, how kids can go home and mention it to their parents. And so just the messaging that, listen, we're trying to do this to lead from the front. This is amazing to be more prepared. And I think all the parents will get on board with it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We certainly will we'll let them know because once we've applied for it, then it'll be an easier process to say, okay, now this is what we're going to be doing. So, but yeah, since it is new to us and it is new to the district, we're going slow right now just to make sure that we get all the components. But I do think it's worthwhile, and I do think that the parents will appreciate it. I think so. I hope. I don't know. I mean, I'm a principal who had to perform CPR on a student years ago, and had to use the AED device on a student years ago. I've also done. Oh my goodness, what is it called? The diastats. Is that what's? Yeah. Yes. For seizures. I mean, I've done a lot. Things that are not necessarily my favorite things to do, nor would I necessarily want to ever have to do it again. But I got to say, I was back when I think back on it now, this was in like 2014, 2015 when I did this. I'm so grateful that I had really good training and that I was able to stay calm because it's not the easiest thing to do, right? But yeah, I mean, it definitely is worthwhile. And I know that our teachers would want to be able to do that as well. So anyway, I know you guys understand that. Any other questions? So can we, Rebecca, I'm not going to steal your thunder if you want to make a motion or if anybody would like to make a motion on approving those 2.
Does anyone have any other questions before we take action on these additional priorities? Okay. Well, I think the floor is open for a motion to add these to our strategic plan.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Great. So a motion from Ryan and a second from Raj. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
No problem,
all.
Melissa. Thank you.
Is Melissa in?
Caroline,
Did I let
Melissa
her?
was a yes.
Oh, okay.
Melissa has joined, but is not able to verbally. Or
Okay.
she's the iPhone, I think.
She's iPhone. Okay. Okay, good to know.
Perfect. I was
And
wondering-
Melissa.
I figured it was Melissa.
Okay, I was
Hey
hopeful.
y'all, sorry, I'm driving.
No worries.
Be
No
careful.
problem.
Thank you all for that. I'm excited about that. And then I just wanted to give you an update on some of the stakeholder engagement, specifically as as it relates to parents and family engagement, guardians. So we talked about this last time, and you guys provided some feedback, which was great. This is the feedback that you guys provided, where we had to kind of think through 3 different things, right? So 4 different groups of stakeholders and 3 different ways to consider moving forward: inform, input, and invite. So I wanted to start with families. And so it's not that we're not going to have students involved in staff and community. Clearly we will, but this is what I proposed to the teachers. I asked every grade level to consider ways right now that we are engaging with families, with parents, right, or guardians, and to come up with something that is new to them, to their grade level, that might fall in some of the ideas that you guys provided here, some of the feedback, but just something that is a little different than what we typically do. So every grade level had the opportunity to sit down with their team and think through what is something that we would want to have happen and what would we want to do in that engagement. So I gave them some parameters as it related to what we needed to do as we move forward with family engagement. So giving them some parameters in terms of we're thinking through doing something completely different, maybe utilizing a different modality or communication modality that we haven't explored before, just to see if we can get a different level of engagement for some families. Now, I don't know about you all, but one of my favorite things right now in the world is TikTok. I love TikTok. It's terrible. But the reason why I love TikTok is because it's short, quick, bite-sized, and it maintains my attention for everything. It's ridiculous the amount of time I spend on it. And realize that my mother, who's 83, she's also a TikTok fanatic and addicted, but it's crazy. But we're both the same. We're so crazy similar. It's got to get my attention. Give me the information so I can go to the next whatever thing it is that I'm looking, or whether I'm learning a new dance or whatever. I'm not dancing, but anyway. So a lot of our teachers really wanted to come up with different things, and from that mentality of social media and then that instant kind of like knowledge. So kindergarten is proposing that they want to still have a night, and I appreciate this from a kindergarten perspective. They want to invite families to come, but each of the kindergarten teachers would teach a specific standard to parents on how best to support their kid. So there are certain standards that we refer to like as priority standards, power standards, however you choose to call it, where it would be really nice if some of our parents, instead of trying to teach them the way that they learned how to add or subtract, et cetera, maybe now we can teach them how to use the new math. I don't want to say new math. It scares people when I say it, but new ways to go about it. So they want to create a night for just kindergarten families to come and rotate, where they're going to teach parents how they can support their kid at home with this particular standard, whether it's through math or whether it's through phonics instruction. They were really excited about this type of engagement. So that's just an example. First grade, they wanted to do something a little different. They wanted to do something that is a little TikTok based. Not necessarily on TikTok, but they want to create like video vignettes of them taking a parent, say, hey, this is what we're learning, and this is how we're going to learn it. And this is what we want our kids to be able to do at the end. But they're going to show parents how to do it. So when they're supporting with homework or at home, they can watch that vignette together, but the parents know exactly how to reinforce what the teachers are doing in the classroom. So I thought that was pretty cool that they want to do that, but they want to add those short little videos to the mail that you get, to the email that you get on Thursdays, just to show, hey, a different way to engage with the families. And I think a lot of our families would appreciate this. Some of the things that I hear when it comes to homework and the new terminology for how we do things and number talks and number sense, I think that they would appreciate this, but this is just something a little different. Second grade came up with something very similar. They want to be able to create short videos for parents that they can provide at the beginning of an entire unit, whether it's a unit that is 2 weeks or 3 weeks long, where they kind of do this dump of like, hey, families, this is what you really want to focus on and look at, but this is what we're going to be doing. and I've got to say, giving the grade levels the autonomy to think through and kind of say, what would you like to do? I love that, but I was not expecting them to go this route necessarily. I don't know what I expected, but creating little short videos, it can be a lot because you've got to be really excited about, okay, what I just recorded, oh no, I missed this, let me try again. It can be a lot of trial and error, but I think in the end with some real big bang for your buck. Third grade, last year in third grade, they were our first guinea pig as it related to some like a different way of going through parent engagement. What they did last year for third grade families is they rotated into three different groups, and they gave parents the opportunity to take a look at questions that milestones assessment would kind of have that their third grade students would encounter on milestones. Watching the parents realize that third graders are expected to read this paragraph and this paragraph, this text, then compare and contrast, answer questions, and then write about those two things. They were like, y'all are asking my third graders having to do this? Yes, it is. And a lot of them were just kind of like, I had no idea to what extent they were expected to do this. Like it was mind blowing for them, very eye opening. But our third grade teachers want to do the exact same thing to give these parents an opportunity to see this is what we're working towards. This is not just easy things. I don't know what you guys thought third grade was, but some of the stuff that we see our kids have to do, I literally am like, could I have done that in third grade? I don't know, but it's impressive in terms of what our kids are able to do. But they're really excited at that. Again, fourth grade really wanted to create the series of videos. And just if you didn't know, we have new standards for reading, for writing, etc. And a part of the new standards is all about the different communicative modalities. So creating videos or creating podcasts. We had some, I think our fifth grade teachers at one point were considering having the kids create a podcast that could be recorded and shared with families. I think they were going to do a little something different, but it's still possible down the road that might be one of those ways in which we continue to engage families just a little bit differently. My fifth grade teachers, they really wanted to hold a coffee talk or do coffee talk, kind of similar to the way that I have it structured, because they have specials right out, at the beginning of the day. What if they started coffee talk with families at 7:30? It ran into specials where they could kind of give parents like actual one-on-one support in terms of teaching them something that they are learning currently in fifth grade with fifth grade standards, et cetera. But they wanted to have the interaction. They didn't want to lose it in their minds through video. They wanted to continue to have the one-to-one connection, which again, I appreciate. Now, down the road, might we fine tune some of these things? Absolutely. But just kind of coming out of the gate, I wanted the grade levels to feel comfortable with what it is that they wanted to do. They had to come to a consensus, and then they're going to offer these things. Now, you see at the bottom, some of them had some times and dates. We're going to work on that because we just want to make sure that it makes the most sense and that we're not stressing out not only our teachers, but our kids and potentially our families, because, we're elementary and there's a lot of things that happen. So we're going to try and make sure that these engagement nights happen at times that would not just necessarily fall on Thursday. They may be other evenings, which I'm okay with and it's certainly agreeable to. But these are just some of the things that we're thinking about as it relates to the family engagement piece. So any thoughts, or what are you guys thinking?
How
I have a
hard is
question.
it
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ryan.
for the in-person stuff, like specifically the fifth grade one up here? Like that sounds awesome. I know it's not anything I would ever be able to go to just without a flexible work schedule. Is it difficult to record that kind of stuff?
No, that was one of the things that we asked them to consider as well, because there are families that will watch the recordings. There are families that will watch this Go Team meeting. So that would be the expectation, that we would record it, that we'd have to figure out some component to that so we could share that back out.
Awesome. Cool.
Raj?
I was going to ask more generally, how at some of the recent events, like there's a QR code where then you put in your name in the Google Doc. How are you guys using that information? Like, are you noticing that 60% of parents have had one interaction with the school this year, or seven, like kind of what is that data informing?
Yeah, we've got to, honestly, we got to take a deeper dive into that, because what ends up happening is that what we find is that if there's a mom and a dad, perhaps, that come and they use the QR code to sign in, for whatever reason, it seems like the dads put the mom's names when they do it. So we're getting like double thing. It's just interesting. We got to figure out something about that. But what I can say is this, from another parent engagement like standpoint, we obviously have some really nicely attended events. We're never at a loss for people, right? But we've been tracking the percentage of parents who have been accessing Infinite Campus and Parent Portal, which is interesting because that's where the grades are, right? That's where we want our parents to see that when they're entered. But right now, 90% of our almost 91% of our families have accessed Parent Portal. That's great. That's huge. So we are looking now at that 9%. Who are they? What do we need to do to get them on it? So we are looking at it from different vantage points. But Raj, as it relates to some of the events, we've got to figure out, I think, a little better way on how we can take that data and just look at it overall. One thing that we can easily say is that if there is food or entertainment, provided, then we're going to have a higher turnout, right? International night. I'm assuming you all were there.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy. It was so packed and it was amazing. And the food game just keeps getting elevated. I'm still blown away by that too. But a lot of families are coming and they want to be a part of that. And so we had, I think it was over 600 plus that were present. That actually did the QR code. It's a lot of people, and we're going to expect that again, especially like with small tall bar and some other things. But we've just got to look at that data a little differently, try to collect it a little differently too. We can do better in that, I think. What else? Another thing that we're doing too is we're tracking. This is new for us, and some of our teachers, they're on board with it. It's just new. We're tracking the percentage of families that we are holding parent-teacher conferences with. So that one's a big one too. So one thing we can easily say is that 100% of all of our families have been invited to participate in a parent-teacher conference, right? But then what percentage actually take us up on that? And we're probably right now in it's like mid 60s. Where the majority, I think it was like 63, 64% of our families have participated in a parent-teacher conference, but then that still leaves 30%. So then taking a look at which percentage of those families have accessed Parent Portal, or if a teacher has at least had a conversation with them over the phone. It might not be a traditional parent-teacher conference, but it's good to know that they're still in communication. And then also thinking about, are parents getting are they reading the teacher emails, right? Every Thursday. Most families are like, hey, I didn't get, that my child's teacher didn't send this email yet. Well, the teacher just, I don't know, a little stalled or behind, but they're looking for them on Thursday, which we appreciate. But yeah, there's a lot that we want to look at because there are groups. There's a small group of families that are not engaging with us the way that we would prefer. I was speaking with Ms. Bolton today and one of our instructional coaches about what can we do as it relates to families that we know are not participating. Can we go to them, like, if they live in an apartment complex where they have like a meeting room, maybe we could hold something there. The issue that we're finding there, though, is it's the kids are not necessarily convened in the same area. They're kind of spread out still through not only Midtown, but some areas in Virginia-Highland and in some areas in like on the southern Morningside part. We've just got to figure those things out because we want them to participate, but we also need them to get kids in the building because their attendance rate is not where we would prefer as well. So anyway, there's a lot of data that we're looking at. It's been interesting, and I love looking at data like that. So it's entertaining for me, but I'm probably stressing out my teachers as a result of it. Miss Nadine, am I stressing y'all out?
Can I say
Yeah.
something?
Go for it.
I think parents would really appreciate the videos because remember, we learned the standard algorithm for math. Now we have so many different ways, different strategy we could use. So I noticed that some of my kids, they love the standard algorithm, but then some of them like the chip model. It's whatever works for them. And I think parents would really appreciate us sending a video telling them different ways, because maybe standard algorithm don't work for everybody.
Yeah.
Maybe the chip model, maybe the base 10. So I think parents would really appreciate the videos, because I appreciate them too.
Yeah.
Because I'm learning.
Yeah. My brother, he calls me on FaceTime when he's like, what is this math? What is this? Why isn't this just regular math? He's constantly saying it. He's like, what do I do? So yeah, I get maybe once a week a call. He's like, I want to help them out, but I don't want to do it the way that I learned it, because clearly they're not learning it the way that I learned it, which is fine. But no, I agree with you. I think it would be beneficial to see. And not only that, but it's a bank that we will be able to keep and continue to contribute to. So that, I think that would be worthwhile as well. So what other questions? So again, I just wanted you guys to see just some of the things that we're thinking about and thinking through. Still going to be meeting with Bree and talking with our STEAM ambassadors about how we can get more student input and feedback on things that they would like to see, and how those ambassadors can get that feedback from their homerooms, with a number of things. For example, just to let you guys know, if you haven't noticed, the playground is getting a ton of stuff added to it right now. All of the playground equipment, these were the things that the students voted on and wanted the most. So all of that is a reality that is coming to fruition based off of their feedback and their votes. And we voted on that. When did we vote on that? It was last election. So yeah, so it's coming about. It's coming about. So we're doing pretty well. Other questions?
I don't have a question. I wouldn't mind really quickly asking the parents on here if I think that Ryan, you said you liked the videos, but because as teachers, we sit around and we try and think of these great engagement opportunities, and we just assume that, well, not everyone, some of us assume that face-to-face is better, but I wonder if it's the other way around. I mean, I wonder if parents prefer a video, a short coffee talk on video versus actually having to come in after work and all of that. What do y'all think? I don't know. Any input?
I mean, for me, with, different kids at different ages and all the activities, videos are definitely easier. I know that's not true for everyone, but for sure, the more easily digestible it is, the more accessible it feels for me.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah.
Videos feel more accessible. I mean, obviously face-to-face is always amazing, but if you're, the goal is to broaden the reach, I think videos is a great way to do it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I would agree. I think I would prefer face-to-face, but then I know the time that works for me doesn't work for other people. I think it's hard to find a time that works for everybody. And so I think the videos maybe is better.
Yeah, I agree with what everyone's saying, that videos for busy parents are better. There also is that component of when you're busy, sometimes you might not watch a video if you don't have to either, where if you're face to face, like you kind of have to be there. So I don't know if there's a path forward where there could be a combination of sometimes things are video and sometimes they're face to face to kind of hit both. But yeah.
Great.
I'd echo that perspective and add in that depending on what the goals of what maybe the more specific goals are, I do think in-person is also powerful because it's a chance to build like broader school community and a sense of belonging. Like if I'm sitting with a bunch of other third grade parents talking about a particular thing, there's maybe more camaraderie built than like if I'm watching it standalone. But I do think a hybrid is the best way to hit the broadest number of people.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate that.
And I will say in our community, our community likes to socialize, right? So in face-to-face is clearly one of those ways to do that. But any other comments? All right, I'm just going to go into then just some things that are coming up. So I mentioned the playground. We were really surprised at how quickly they were able to get out here, and we wanted to take advantage of that. So we're hoping that the rubber will be laid around all of the equipment this coming week. And yeah, before Thanksgiving, hopefully. So fingers crossed, looking forward to that. There are a lot of things that are coming up in the month of November and December. I'll just kind of give some examples really quickly. I've got some slides after. Our enrollment number, just for your information, 676 kids. That is great. We are almost at the same amount of students that Morningside has right now, which is mind-blowing to me too, because they've always had so many more kids. But yeah, and we're still getting kids too, which is cool. And we're starting to see a number of the kids that have joined us are from overseas, international, New Delhi, Finland. I mean, it's been kind of interesting to see. So, but excited because the kids have been great and the families have been lovely. We will start MAP winter testing in December, just to kind of, before the holiday break. Just to let you all know. And then Melissa, I know that you're driving, or if anyone would like to kind of, if we can chat quickly about the final recommendations for what schools may be closing, what may be happening as it relates to facilities master plan. But here's a couple of other announcements. We do have the VHE canned food drive that is happening. We partnered with Midtown Assistance Center. Our PTO was super on it as it related to providing support to families who will not be receiving their SNAP benefits. And they raised $20,000 right around that number, a huge number, a huge amount raised in a very short amount of time to support families who might not be getting that SNAP assistance. And then again, if you would like to participate, we are doing our canned food drive. Our book fair is opening tomorrow and all through next week. So excited about that. Our kids are thrilled. We're also doing our Thanksgiving luncheon. You guys are all invited. Thursday and Friday of next week will be our Thanksgiving luncheon days. You're seeing more information about that in our PTO. If you come into the school, you see it on the tickers, on the TVs around the building. But yeah, really excited about that. And then, of course, we're all super excited about Thanksgiving break. That is the 24th to the 28th. So just a couple of announcements that I wanted just to put out there. And then, yeah, it's still a busy time of year. So, Melissa, are you able, did you want to talk any about the cluster advisory facilities?
Yeah, I can really quickly. Last night was the first read of the recommendations to the Board of Education. These are really the same as last time I presented. The only recommendation specifically related to our cluster is the 300-seat addition to Midtown High School. They noted that next year in January, there'll be some continued community conversations about plans beyond construction. So whether that's boundaries or school choice or whatnot. But right now, the vote will be before the Board of Education in December, the first Monday of December, and that will be on the addition for Midtown High School and then some of the elementary school repurposings and dual campus mergings that they've presented previously.
Okay. Any questions, y'all, about that?
Nope, none here.
All right. Rebecca, that's all I've got. So I had no one request for public comment.
Public comment. If you are watching this recording and want to make a comment at some point, the VHE webpage, go to the Go Team page and it has instructions on how to do that. I think we can go ahead and close out our meeting with a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn the meeting.
So, I mean, I'm second.
Okay, motion from Ms. Mackenzie Shan and a second from Ms. Ree. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks for all the work, everyone. And this home stretch to a break. Take care.
Thank
Bye.
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.